So, the philosopher we're going to be looking at today is Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He was thought of as a contemporary thinker and was born in 1712 in Switzerland. His main focus were on Enlightenment philosophy and political philosophy. Throughout his life, he composed many major works, some of them including The Social Contract and Discourse on the Origin of Equality. One central idea that Rousseau followed and researched throughout his life was the idea and the origin of language. With language, he valued the human body heavily and believed that the first language to come about was through gestures with the body, and that these provoked very visual communications and will leave very strong messages. With this, he felt that the sense of sight was far more important than the sense of hearing, because throughout one's life, he believed far more things would affect our eyes than our ears. However, contrary to that idea, but still holding on to his value of the human body, he also valued the spoken word more than the written. He grew concerned with the growing emphasis that was being placed on writings and written words. He felt that this form of the message was often distorted because it was limited to just an object, such as a book. Also, he believed in his time that the idea of speech had not only become ignored, but was often overshadowed by the writings. He was very passionate about speech as the form of communication because he believed it was a very lively form because it came from the body and was much more personal. He also believed this because he felt that speech was not only the primal but the natural form of communication, since we were given it at our creation, whereas as words on paper were often lifeless. The last idea of Rousseau's I wanted to touch on was his idea about the coming about of man. You will find that many of his core beliefs come from his belief that God did in fact create the universe and man, but was not to blame for their wrongdoings. Rousseau believed that civilization and the decisions men made were to blame. He believed that when God made man, he made them neither virtuous or vicious, but just the man himself. One of the things that Rousseau blames is man's imagination. He believes it gives men the ability to create unachievable objects of desire that will leave men unfulfilled, but also gives them the ability to compare themselves to others, which leads to the feeling of inequality.